right, everybody, and welcome to the Touch of Gaming podcast, episode number 122. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, as always, Jared Schultz. Jared, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm a little sick today, Lloyd.
You're sick? Are you sick of me, Jared, or are you just sick in general?
Just sick in general.
Or a little of column A, a little of column B?
I'm not sick of you at all.
You lie, my friends.
No, not at all.
So,
hey, did you get your Skylander?
I haven't received it yet. Maybe I'm hoping tomorrow, because if it doesn't come in tomorrow, I won't get it till I come back from my little bit of a trip that I'm going on.
That would be unfortunate. I sent it on Tuesday.
Yeah, Canada Customs can sometimes be a pain in the butt. They can hold stuff forever, which is unfortunate. What can you do, though? All right, so we're recording this on Thursday, November 8th, 2012. Of course, this is the Touch of Gaming podcast, your weekly dose of iOS gaming goodness. We'd like to give you news and reviews for all the latest and greatest that hit the Apple iOS App Store for both your iPhone and iPad. Before we get started with what we've been playing, I just wanted to give one little news and note, one little announcement. And that is that there will be no episode next week. I'm actually away on a business trip. I'm actually going to Florida, which will be kind of nice because we're supposed to get snow here in Winnipeg, as the central part of Canada. Usually around about the second week of November is when we get snow that actually sticks around for the rest of the year. And we're actually getting snow this weekend, so it's going to be all like snow everywhere, and we're going to be shoveling. And then I'm going to be getting on a plane and flying down to super, super warm Florida. So I cannot wait. It's going to be great. So no show tomorrow, or sorry, no show next week, but we will pick up with shows again the week following, provided I don't just stay in Florida and find like a warm cabana to work in or something.
That's unfortunate, but guess what?
What?
I'm going to be traveling next week too, so...
So you're not going to be waiting on Skype for me to call?
Nope.
Oh.
I'll be in Arizona.
Wow, that's another warm place. But you live in a warm place, so it doesn't really matter to you, I guess.
It's not that warm here.
I was in Arizona the same time of year a couple years ago, so too bad that wasn't this year, and then we could have hooked up in Arizona. That would have been pretty good. You
do know I used to live in Arizona, right?
I do know you used to live in Arizona. I was waiting for you to say that.
All right.
It's funny because we never really... I guess we weren't talking back then, maybe? I don't know. I think it was like...
Not much.
Was it 3 years ago or 2 years ago? I'm trying to think of when I went. I think it was 2 years ago, because last year I was in... Where was I last year? I was in Indianapolis last year, and then, I was in Arizona the year before, so...
Yeah, I was there. I just wasn't your co-host or anything, so I wasn't a priority to see or anything.
Yeah, I was like...
I'm cool with that.
This crazy listener wants to get in contact with me. I'm just going to ignore his phone calls and texts and emails and carrier pigeons that he sent.
That's fair.
All right. So anyway, to recap, there will be no show next week, but we'll be picking it back up the week after. We will stop talking about stalking because that is not true and not really that funny. So I don't know why we were saying it. Yay. All right, so let's get into the rest of the show, Jared. Let's start it off with what we've been playing. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the games you've been playing the last week or so?
I've been playing this little game. Well, it's actually really big. It's huge. It's like 2 gig. Called Horn, which you reviewed months ago, and I was sad because I couldn't play it because it didn't work on my iPod Touch.
So why can you play it now, Jared? I know we didn't talk about this enough last week. Why are you able to play it now?
Well, I have a new iPod Touch, and it is capable of playing Horn.
And it's pretty awesome.
So, yeah, it's a pretty good game, and I'm glad that I can now play it and don't have to, go hide away the iPad from my wife and, hide in the closet or something to play it. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. I mean, there are a few things that are a little frustrating about it, but overall, it's really good and really impressive. I mean, the graphics are fantastic. So, yeah. Then I have been playing a game called Election War Room 2012. So I mentioned this last week, and I realized that I did not do a very good job of explaining how it works asynchronously. So I'm going to try one more time. If I fail this time, I give up.
Well, the election's over, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
The game is still fun. I've been still playing it. So basically, okay, So let's pretend you and I are playing a game, okay? So I start the game and I place what I'm going to do for the first period. Well, then you log in and you say, "Oh, look, Jared decided to play a game with me," and you take yours for the first period. Well, then both turns happen concurrently, right?
So it's
So
like you both pre-pick your moves, but then the moves trigger at the same time.
the move triggers at the same time. And so the reason why this is important is because there's cards you can bid on that give you extra powers, and it's not fair if I know what you're going to bid before you actually bid it. So
Right.
we both bid it at the same time. It resolves the turn. Well, you logged in, and you can then pre-program in your next turn for period 2. So then I log in, and when I log in, I first see the results of period 1. I then take my or plan my turn for period 2. I then see period 2 happen, and I plan my turn for period 3. Is that clear?
Yeah, like mud.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool because it's like asynchronous, but you actually get to play 2 turns at a time. Um, and I still really like it. There's some really big issues with the game. Uh, First of all, there's only login through Facebook. Uh, I don't know if any of my Facebook friends have it. I was talking about this with Todias, who's a regular, and it's just that's the Facebook annoying is very annoying, and I really don't have Facebook friends that I really play games with that much.
Hmm.
I play games with my Game Center people, so
Yeah.
kind of wish that game it had Game Center support on it. It doesn't have talking, just lots of things like that. But it still actually is a really fun game. Really, really enjoy the simple strategy, and it plays out pretty quick. And then I've been playing Wimp, Where's My Pants, which was a game that I heard about primarily through the Mikey Shorts guys. I had heard about it kind of faintly, but they talked about it so much that I thought, hey, I want to pick this up. And then it went free one day, and I thought, this is a good time to pick it up. So I did. And yeah, it's a platformer. More in the vein, there's a platformer you're trying to pick up the 3 rolls of toilet paper in each level. There's a lot of puzzle elements to it. You're kind of like this little green guy in a blob of goo, and you can suddenly somehow turn your blob of goo sticky when you jump at things, so then you can stick to things and then jump off them whenever you want. And yeah, and then you have to get your pants in every level, and when you get your pants, the exit to the level opens up. So that's kind of the goal is you want to get your pants, and then you also want to make sure that you get your three rolls of toilet paper, because that's kind of the 3-star system in this one. And I looked it up. It looks like what ended up happening was they originally had put it as "Where's my panties" when they were wanting to say underwear, and it's a little guy, and so it seemed a little strange. So the name is now "Where's my pants," and yeah, it's okay. It's the controls are pretty close to where you want them to be, but sometimes the button is a little small, and so you'll think you're hitting the button and you're not. But
Right.
besides that, it's okay. So what have you been playing?
So I've been playing a fair bit. I haven't actually had that much time over the last week. I'm prepping for my trip and getting some stuff organized. So I haven't been playing anything, like no consoles, no nothing. I've mainly been playing Skylanders Lost Islands still. Basically playing that multiple times a day, every day. Also still playing Simpsons Tapped Out. So Skylanders Lost Islands is, of course, kind of like the Farmville set in Skylands, where you can use the physical characters that you have with their little codes and put them in the game, which is kind of neat. A patch came out today, which actually made the game available for the rest of the world. So if you don't already, if you're not in Canada and you didn't download it already, Skylanders Lost Islands is now free for everybody in the rest of the world. So go check it out. I've been playing a fair bit about it. In the patch today, they added the giants. So if you had any Skylanders giants, you can add them into your game and do some other things. They also patched the other Skylanders game, Skylanders Cloud Patrol, to use Activision's new social network. So when that patch comes to Skylanders Lost Islands, any character that you've unlocked across all your games will then all be like sunk up to the cloud, and you'll have access to both of them. They're also advertising the iOS Portal Pack, which comes with the physical characters and the portal that connects over Bluetooth. So that must be coming really soon. I think it comes out on the same day as the Wii U. So that's not this Sunday, the following Sunday, I believe. So that'll be out soon as well. So I'm assuming that all the other patches and everything will be coming around the same time. So I'll definitely be playing a lot of that over the next little while. So sorry if you don't like Skylanders, you're going to hear me talk a lot about it over the next little while. I apologize. As for Simpsons Tapped Out, the Halloween event is over. So you no longer get candies and eggs and toilet paper from doing different things to throw at your friends' houses. But they've activated a small Thanksgiving theme, I guess, for American Thanksgiving. So you can unlock Thanksgiving Day parade floats and things like that, which is kind of neat. And there's some quests all around that. They've also added a bunch more characters and things into it. I guess a bunch more too. That's not really a bunch, but you can unlock the Channel 6 News with Kent Brockman as a character that offers quests. And if you have any premium currency, you can buy the Bumblebee Man and listen to his fake Spanish talk and add that to your game as well. So I'm liking what they're doing. I guess for a good part of last month, because of the Halloween Treehouse of Terror, The Simpsons was number one on for earnings on the App Store. So EA is very happy at all the free money they're getting because a lot of people are buying the donut currency. So they're basically putting small little updates out, and they're getting a lot of people spending a lot of money. EA likes money, so I can see over the next little while that there's going to be probably every couple weeks or every month, there's going to be big updates of Simpsons Tapped Out with a bunch of premium items to get people to spend real money to buy donuts and things like that. As long as they keep putting in free content, I'm okay with that. Other people out there can spend hundreds of dollars in donuts and unlock the things. I used my last free donut or my last donut to buy the Bumblebee Man, so I no longer have any premium currency. So time will tell whether I'll drop $5 or $10 on it and buy some other things in the future. But anyway, still playing Simpsons Tapped Out, having a lot of fun with that as well.
I thought occasionally you earn donuts.
You do. You get them sometimes for clearing out garbage. Like if you unlock another quadrant of land and you clean it up, sometimes they'll get donuts there. Every time you level up, you get donuts. They're available, but once you get to as high a level as I am, there's really not as many places to get the donuts anymore because you're not leveling up anymore. I kind of hit they release a patch which raises the level cap, and because I've played so much between the last release and this one, I level up immediately, and it's like, oh, okay, well that was fun. Apparently there's a new patch because it just says that I leveled up a couple times. So yeah, it's kind of stopped. And the little glitch that happened to me early on in the game where I got a bunch of, I kept getting the bonus 60 donuts over and over and over again, stopped as well. So all my free gotten donuts are now gone as well. So I have no donuts. I'm donut poor. We'll see what happens in the future. So besides those two, I've been playing real games as well. I've still been playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, having a lot of fun with that, trying to get first place and golds on all the races that I've unlocked. I'm also buying the NFS car. They unlock one a week. This week's was I believe it was a Porsche, a Porsche 911 with some special mods or whatever. So it was $500,000. So it took me a while to save up enough money to buy that, and I'm enjoying it. I really, really do dig it. I'm glad I was able to review it last week. And unlike most games that I review, I pretty much have to delete them right away and make room for other stuff to review. I've been keeping this one on my iPad and still going in and playing a couple races every day. So I'm still really, really enjoying it. And besides that, I've been playing Knights of Pen and Paper, but we'll hear more about that in the near future. All right, well, that's about it. Let's get into notable releases. We don't really have any news for you this week. I guess with Angry Birds Star Wars releasing this week, a lot of developers have kind of taken the week off, not wanting to compete with the behemoth that is Rovio. So there's no big news other than Angry Birds Star Wars came out yesterday, I guess today, technically. It came out at midnight in Pacific time. And basically it's available for the iPhone for 99 cents and the iPad for $2.99. I did buy it, and I've played through a chunk of the first world, and as tired as I am of Angry Birds, this is actually really, really cool. I picked it up because the kids love Angry Birds, and they also love Star Wars, and this is like the perfect marriage of two awesome things, kind of like peanut butter and chocolate. And I gotta say, it's pretty cool. Like the first character you get is the Red Bird, which is, I guess, Luke Skywalker. He doesn't start off with any powers, so you're just throwing it just like the normal thing, but you're throwing it at sand people, which are pigs wrapped up in like sand people garb. And then as you level up, get to the next few levels, you unlock a character that has like a force push. So as you're flying towards the blocks, you can touch anywhere on the screen and you'll send a force push towards that direction to knock the blocks over or kill pigs or whatever. And there's also pigs in stormtrooper outfits, which is really cool. And there's also pigs that are shooting lasers. So you have to time your jumps or your tosses between the laser blasts so you don't get hit and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. And then the next character that gets unlocked is the Red Bird again, but this time you have a lightsaber. So right before you want to swing your lightsaber, you wait till you're close to something and you touch the screen, and then you do like this nice little turn of your lightsaber, destroying the blocks or pigs, and then you can continue on and destroy things. And that's as far as I've gotten. I've watched some of the videos and things. It looks like it's going to be really cool. There's some levels set in space. It's just more Angry Birds, but it's set with like an IP that I really do dig. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. This might be a good game to play on the plane as I'm flying through the air towards the warmth of Florida. We'll see. Maybe that will be the one that I pull out and play on the plane. We'll see. How about you, Jared? You have any interest in Star Wars Angry Birds?
No. Not yet.
Simply
maybe
no.
One day.
All right. You were supposed to talk a little bit so I could take a drink of water, but apparently that didn't work as intended.
I apologize. No, okay, here, let me talk. I'm a little over Angry Birds. I never got through all the ones I have. I actually played through Rio and decided that one was going to be the one that I played all the way through. I played through it, and I did not get 3 stars, and I deleted it. And I still have Seasons, and I still have the original on my device. And I download them whenever they get the new levels, but every once in a while I go play a few levels, and I've had enough. So
yeah, I'm
not sure I need another one, especially when I bought Angry Birds Space and still have not played it. So
oh wow, really? Angry Birds Space is actually really fun. I really enjoyed that one. I played all the levels and got a good chunk of the achievements on it as well. I too am tired of the regular Angry Birds. So I'm surprised that I'm actually enjoying this one, but I think it's Star Wars and you gotta love it. So there's that. Also out today is a game called Wraithborn. It's published by Crescent Moon. It's done by I want to say
Alpha Dog.
That's what I was going to say, Angry Dog, but I'm like, nah, it's not right. Alpha Dog Studios, and it's $3 on the App Store, and it's an Unreal Engine powered top-down beat 'em up, kind of like Diablo. You are the Wraithborn, and you have magic powers. You unlock runes, use the runes to cast magic, and it's just it looks very Diablo-like. It looks like that. What was the name of that top-down brawler with the orcs in it? Orcs Vengeance, right? That's what it's called. It looks very Orc Vengeance, but you're further away from the characters, and the levels are a heck of a lot more detailed. I've only played the first part of the first mission. From what I'm hearing from reading reviews and things, it looks like it's only about a 3 or so hour game, so it's something that I should be able to get through really, really quick. So hopefully I'll do that over the next little while, and hopefully have a review for you the next time we put out an episode. But from what I've seen, it looks really, really good. The developers had said that they're planning on offering up free content downloads as updates. So hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll have content patches for this one that will give you more quests and things to do. But from what I can see right now, it's something that I'm really eager to get in and start playing. Also out is Jared's favorite, My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. It is a free, another free kind of in-app purchase sponsored, Farmville clone, kind of like the Smurfs or Skylanders Lost Islands, those types of games. But it's set in the My Little Pony universe, so all the bronies out there can basically get out and I don't know, play with their ponies, whatever they want to do. My daughter used to be into My Little Pony. She like was crazy obsessed with it, and she's kind of not gotten into it so much over the last little while. So I haven't showed her this game. So maybe I should do that because I'm sure she would love it. She was pretty big into My Little Pony for a while there. So check that out if you are into My Little Pony or are a brony. Also out, as I said, Skylanders Lost Islands is now free worldwide. So I talked about it last episode that it was a Canadian-only beta. It's now out for the rest of the world, so check it out. And probably the most interesting one, probably not the best one, definitely not the best game that came out this week, but definitely the most interesting one is a game called Curiosity: What's Inside the Cube? And that is Peter Molyneux's first game from his new studio called 22 Cans. And it is a social experiment, is kind of how I'd want to describe it. It's basically a game where all you do is tap a big cube to break off little tiny cubes. And when you work together with everybody else that's playing the game, and once a whole layer of cubes is done, you move on to the next layer that's below it. I think the first layer had something like 100 million little tiny cubes that people were tapping away at, and it was tapped away in the first day. So people really want to get to see what's inside of the cube. Apparently, only one person can get to the center, and the person that does gets a wonderful, amazing experience that is going to make it all worthwhile for everybody that tapped away. It's going to change that person's life. If you can download it, it is free to download. If you can download it, you probably can't play it because I don't think they really assumed that there'd be as many people wanting to tap away at a cube, like, which sounds like super boring to me. So they're having major server issues. So the game where you're just tapping and tapping and tapping, you can't even get to the server to just go tappy, tappy, tappy. So you'll get a lot of errors and things when you're trying to load it. So you've been warned. I was able to get on once, and I tapped away for a bit and said, hey, look, all those cubes I'm tapping on are disappearing. Oh, look, there's green stuff behind it. And that was it. And then the game crashed after about 5 minutes of me tapping, which is probably good because I shouldn't have spent more than 5 minutes tapping away at a cube. I was able to get on for about 30 seconds again this morning, and I guess people got rid of the first layer, which was black, which revealed a green cube, and I was able to tap away at some green mini cubes to reveal red. So I guess red's the next layer. So yeah, that's Curiosity.
Yeah. I've heard some people have had some issues with like how slowly it refreshes as well on the server, and so like maybe you'll be working and tapping and waiting to clear out, and then all of a sudden they'll clear what you've been working on will clear out because somebody else did it.
Yeah, it'll just
you're
disappear.
Just like, oh, so I just wasted all my time tapping all those cubes, which wasn't really that fun in the first place.
Exactly. I'm actually going to try to fire it up right now while we're talking to see if I can even get into the game again, and to see if maybe the cubes change color yet again. Another 100,000 cubes down because boring people or bored people out there needed something to fill their time, and they're using their time by tappying a big cube. Peter Molyneux calls it a very gorgeous looking cube. I don't know if I agree with that observation, but he's I don't know. He's entitled to his opinion, I guess, is what I want to say.
You don't think it's better looking than all the other cubes out there?
It's nice. It's it has a sheen to it, almost like an oily coating. So I guess that's kind of a nice effect. But yeah, not really a cube man, I guess. No, I'm trying to join, and I've clicked retry a couple times. Oh, actually, it says welcome back joining. So maybe it's gonna get into the game right now, but. If it's anything like this morning, it stayed on joining for about a minute before I got in, and then it crashed almost right after. Nope. Error accessing server, retry. You'll get that screen a lot. I'm trying to show it on the camera. There it is. Error accessing server, retry. That is what you'll get on Curiosity.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because he basically says it's all an experiment, and he promises that after he releases the games that he wants to, that he will then, release that information that he's gathered about people playing, etc. But I don't know. I just didn't care enough to go spend my time tapping away.
No, I mean it's like a cow clicker, but now it's a cube clicker, I guess. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I guess it's a social experiment. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking that what's inside the cube is more little cubes. Just like the 1 million box is actually a big box filled with 1 million little boxes. If anybody recognize or remembers that old Bugs Bunny cartoon, probably not. Showing my time, showing my age. So yeah, that's Curiosity. I don't get it, but there you go. Click away to cube. Maybe you'll get something cool if you're the lucky person that clicks away at the last cube.
Yeah.
Do I sound bored at all on this news story? Because this is like a very boring game. I don't understand.
Yeah, I think that I'm just going to be the one that swoops in a week or so when everyone else has done the hard work and, compete for the prize.
Well, Peter Molyneux said it could take weeks or years to get to the center of the cube. So you might, or months, sorry, I said weeks. I meant months or years to get to the center of the cube. So you'll be swooping in a little bit of time. By the time you get close to the middle, everybody will have forgotten about it. There'll probably be like a core 3 people that are spending like their 8 hours or 16 hours awake a day just tapping at their screen. They have like bloodshot eyes. That'll probably be what it is. And then the winner, the person that gets the middle, will get like some like 30-second animation or something. It'll be something totally lame, and they will go postal.
But it will change their lives.
It will change their lives.
Let's move on.
Because they will be in jail for going postal and killing everybody, is what it will be. All right, moving on. Let's get into the reviews. We have 3 reviews for you guys this week. The first one, we're going to do a joint review of a game that both Jared and I have been playing a fair bit of, and that is a game called Knights of Pen and Paper by Behold Studios and Yogos Electronicos, LTDAME. So yeah, it's not from a English developer. I believe it's from a Brazilian developer.
Yeah, Brazil.
So the first thing you'll notice when you play the game is that the translation is pretty Englishy, kind of like old, badly translated Japanese games. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense, but they make me kind of giggle because of that fact. So yeah, so basically what this game is if you remember pen and paper role-playing games, if you ever played them back in the day before video games were as pervasive as they are, you would get together in a room with your friends and you'd have someone controlling the session, usually called a dungeon master or a DM or something else. And they would bring you on an adventure using the canvas of your mind to so you could sit there and picture the story, and you would take on a role and have some fun playing those games. This is a turn-based RPG that is kind of emulating that, except behind the dungeon master is an actual world. So you're imagining what's behind the dungeon master, I guess. The game takes place with you. I guess it takes place with up to 5 characters and the dungeon master, and you only can do 3 characters to begin with, and then you have to buy the slots to have 2 other people come join you. And that's pretty much the game. You're going through a world. The dungeon master is telling you a story. You meet characters in the game. They send you on quests. You kill enemies using a really awesome turn-based battle system, and they then give you loot and money, and you use that loot and money to upgrade your characters. Rinse, repeat until you get to the end of the game. Pretty decent. I really kind of dug it. The art style is very 8-bitty, and if you've listened to the show at all, you know I kind of dig that aesthetic. And a whole game like this kind of really made me smile. So I don't know, Jared, what were your initial thoughts of this game?
Well, initially I was really excited about this because I'm a big RPG fan. I thought that it looked really like a lot of fun. I think it's kind of funny because you can like mix the different characters with the different classes, and the different characters are different basically stereotypes of people who would play RPG games. Mm-hmm. So there's like the pizza guy and the nerd, and so I have like a pizza guy who is my paladin, so he's pizza guy the paladin. I'm actually I'm gonna open the game as well to see if we picked the same combinations. So I can't remember which characters I picked. I have Pizza Guy the Paladin and Nerd the Cleric, and it's you basically they have each one of them has 5 different skills, and as you level up, you're able to improve those skills. However, it's very much trying to put it into the vein of a bit more strategy as opposed to just being over. It's much harder to just over level your characters and then knock everyone out.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason of that is because it seems like, and you kind of alluded to this last week, the enemies get harder the more days in you are. So if you're fighting a rat on day 1, it's pretty simple. But if you're fighting a rat on day 70, it's significantly harder.
That's right.
Yeah, and then you have to pay money to go in between towns. And that's, to be honest, the whole money thing is probably my biggest complaint about this game.
Yep.
They don't give you very much money at all.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and pay. However, you still don't get that much even if you do pay. Unless you pay the $5, because if you pay $5, you get 10,000 gold. But just if you pay $1, you get 150 gold. So you pay 5 times as much for, what's that, like a lot more money? Like 50 times as much money?
Well, yeah, it's a lot. It's crazy. Before we get too far in that, I just want to tell you I got Jock the Warrior. And each of these character classes, or I guess the races, I guess you call a Jock a race in this game. They all have their own abilities. So Jock gets +1 bonus to attack. I have Mr. John the Paladin. I guess Mr. John's a businessman. He gets 10% extra experience points. I have Nerd the Rogue. He gets a 50% discount when resurrecting, which is why I used him as a rogue, because I thought the rogue would die a lot. My rogue never dies, and my rogue is super overpowered, which is kind of cool. I have Pizza Guy the Mage, who gets a 50% discount to buy this player. I chose him because he looked kind of neat. And Flowers the Cleric, which is a lucky gal. That's her move, and she gets 1 extra point on dice rolls. So yeah,
I have Woofy the Mage because he heals 1 turn, or one point every turn, so he's harder to kill.
Right, exactly. So yeah, back to the money. Sorry to interrupt you there. I do agree. Like, my biggest problem with this game is the money. The fact that you get money when you complete quests. So your quest might be go to the forest and collect bark by killing enemies. So you attack a certain number of enemies. They randomly will drop the bark pickup. Once you have the requisite number of bark, you go back to the person that gave you the quest, and you get experience and a fair bit of money. And you're also getting money from killing these enemies. If you go back to the forest and start killing these enemies, they don't drop much. So they'll drop like, maybe say you fight a bunch of them, they might drop 5 gold. Well, you're injured, and to buy a potion, it's 100 gold. So okay, you need 5 potions, so that's 500 gold, but you only made 5 gold. So that doesn't make sense. So let's rest. And you can rest from any screen. If you're in a town, you rest without any danger. If you're outside of town, you rest, and if you don't roll high enough on the dice roll, there's a chance that you'll just get attacked right out. But each time you rest to heal, you're actually advancing a day in the game. So just by leveling up and grinding to get gold, you might go up like 50 days, which means that, as Jared said at the start, the enemies get tougher. And it gets harder to kill them, which then means you get damaged a lot more and you have to heal a lot more. So yeah, gold, not the best way to kind of limit, kind of slow down the play of this game. And as you said, the traveling from city to city, you have to pay money. So you're going to have to do a little bit of grinding anyway if you've spent your money on upgrades, because to get from one part of the world to another, it might cost you 60 gold to get from one side to the other, which is really annoying because you're going to one city to one city to one city in the map. You can't just quick travel from one end to the other. So you're spending a lot of money and a lot of time, and it's not very enjoyable.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, along with that, you save up all the money for an upgrade. Well, then say I save up the 70 cash that it costs to get an upgrade. Well, then I only have a probability of getting the upgrade.
Yeah.
And I have to roll a dice.
Yep.
Which is kind of frustrating because I'm like, okay, I finally saved my 70 bucks for my first upgrade. And, because like you're saying, you get $5 a pop, so it takes a while. And then it's so depressing when you then roll a low number and you just lost all your money.
Yeah, exactly.
And got nothing out of it. And that doesn't happen just once. That happens many times.
Yeah, and because that's another thing that they've done. Like, there's two different shops in town. There's I guess I don't know, the smith who creates weapons and armor upgrades for you. And then there's the apothecary type person that makes potions and sells you magic items. But to make an item, you actually have to basically go to the person, and you have to choose which item you want, and then you craft it for, like, right now I'm at the guy, so I'm gonna craft a plate mail, piece of plate mail for Jock the Warrior. Well, that cost me $94, and I only have a 55% success rate. So what you have to do is roll like or you have to roll over 10 essentially on a d20. So it rolls a d20 and you have to get 10. Depending on your levels and your stats and your bonuses, you might get bonuses to that. So you get bonuses to your dice roll. So for right now, plate mail, 6 health, regen 4. Actually, I'm going to create an item. So let's go. Here we go. Nerd the Rogue is going to get some camo armor. It's going to be crafted for 94. So I'm going to click it, and it says the blacksmith has a chance of 55% of success. Do you want to proceed with the order? If I hit yes, it rolls the dice. So I have to roll 9 to 20. Well, that one I got a 19, so of course that one works. But then it says your item is being forged. Come back in 4 hours. So not only did you spend the money, but now you don't get to use it. You have to wait 4 hours of real time to get the item, or you can speed it up for 188 gold. So I can pay twice the amount of what I spent to make the item. So basically 3 times of what it said the item was going to cost to get the item right away. One difference to that is if you do the dice roll for your success chance, if you roll a natural 20, the item is created immediately. So that's kind of nice, but that's only ever happened to me once. And I've created a fair bit of items in the game. So yeah, I mean, so anyway, that's the items. There's also the apothecary or whatever, the person that makes potions and things. Or I guess it's called an enchanter. I just looked on it, so it's not an apothecary. And yeah, well, so that's what you're doing. When you're going through the different levels, you can find different power-ups. So you can find whetstones, or you can find mushrooms. So if you're in a forest area, you can find mushrooms and you can pick them. And if you're successful in picking them, because you have to roll the dice to pick them, you can go back to the enchanter and give them those items, and then they'll level up. Like the enchanter will then level up in level. You can buy better items and things like that, which is kind of nice. For the smith, you find, like I said, the whetstones or whatever, and you give them to him, and he levels up and he can make better items. Those items also are set to a timer. So if you pick the mushroom once, it's going to take 2 hours for that mushroom to grow back. So I found myself in some of these plays playing for like a half hour, doing some stuff, and then putting the game down for a chunk of the day, and then coming back, going to pick those items up again to level up my smiths or whatever, and then going back and playing it. So like the game is $2, so it's not a free game, but it almost demands that you spend money on gold to actually get some good play out of it. And then there's all this like wait time that they're thrown into it, which doesn't really seem to make sense. Like timers are usually put into freemium games. This just screams that the developers want you to waste money and buy money packs so you can speed up all these upgrades. Like last week, I talked about Need for Speed Most Wanted, which is a game that pretty much you have to spend money on unless you want to grind. This game seems to feel the same way. And if I had my biggest problem with the game would be that the fact that you almost have to buy money. Like I'm so tempted to buy the $5 pack to get 10,000 gold, because like grinding away to get 10,000 gold would take me forever, but I could just get 10,000 gold and then not have to worry about money, which then kind of breaks the game, because then you're not worrying about getting money by completing quests and things like that. So I don't know. It has me in a very weird place. I'm really not sure what I think about that right now.
Yeah, it's one that I kind of wish there was, say, a coin, well, in this case, like tripler.
Yeah.
Because double probably wouldn't be enough still. And otherwise, the game to me just doesn't seem that enjoyable, because you have to grind so much. And, you know, for example, my first time I traveled, I thought, you know, I didn't really understand where I could go. So I went to one of the other cities, and I was I went and tried to go to the level 7 city up above, and this
Right.
was like on my first try, and I was probably like level 3. Well, I got attacked on the road because I didn't roll high enough, and I just got absolutely killed. And of course, that ended up making me lose like 3 days. And every day you lose means that the enemies are getting harder. So,
Right.
all of a sudden, 3 days, though, they start to stack up because you die, and then you have to get back to the town, and then you have to, take a day to rest.
Right.
Or yeah, it's just, it feels way focused on the grinding, and to the point for me that I found myself I wasn't enjoying it because I wasn't able to experience the story. And currently they have 2 adventures in there,
Yep.
and they say that more adventures are on the way. And I'm just thinking, so basically each adventure may be free, but I'm probably going to have to get another 10,000 gold every single time I try to play one of these adventures, because it's not like that 10,000 goes into each game. It only goes into the one you're currently playing. So do I really want to do that? And I don't think the answer, I just don't see myself playing it a ton. But maybe they'll come out and fix some things and make it a bit more balanced. It seems like they have gotten a fairly positive response, but there are a lot of people complaining about the same things that we're talking about.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like if you look on the iTunes App Store, there's a lot of people that are really complaining about the monetization, the fact that you have to buy gold to actually make the game playable. That seems to be the biggest complaint that everybody has. Like I found one combination of character skills that basically breaks the game. I had a quest to go beat these enemies, and the quest giver was like a level 20, and my character was level, I think, 25 at the time or something. So I went to do this quest, and it turns out that the character that I had to beat, or that I had to farm to get the items, was level 31. It's like, okay, so I tried a battle, and basically 2 of my 5 characters died, and the other ones got down really low. So I was like, crap, I can't do this. What am I going to do? Do I have to cancel the quest? But then I remembered that my rogue has a skill called Concussion Blow, which deals a plus 25% damage attack and then disables your target for 1 turn. So basically, I would go. I healed up, raised all my characters back from the dead, got them all healed up. And then I fought one of these characters, because the neat thing that you can do when you're in a battle mode is you can choose the number of enemies to fight. So each battle place usually has 3, usually 2, sometimes 3 different enemy types that you can add. Sometimes there's even more. And then you can add up to 5 enemies to begin with. And then depending if you add, because you can buy items for the room that you are gaming in, which can then give you bonuses. You can buy an item that allows you to have up to 7 enemies. Each enemy over 1 gives you a bonus to XP and gold, which is kind of nice. So I would go to that level 31 enemy, and I'd add 1 to the battle. And then as soon as I got to my rogue, I would use the Concussion Blow. All my other 4 characters would attack the guy. The guy would wake up just before my rogue could attack again. I would do Concussion Blow. And I basically did this, and I farmed the 10 items that I needed and went and finished the quest. And I'm like, okay, it was boring and slow, but I just broke the game with a character that was fighting someone that was like 7 levels above, or 6 levels above, or whatever it was. Something that should have, basically, if that enemy was fighting, I should have died. And especially if I was fighting more than one, I would have died. So yeah, there's some really interesting things like that. There's 12 character classes.
Note to self: go get a rogue.
Yeah, the rogue is really great because it's passive skill. You can spend your upgrade points, and it gives you a +1 of damage, which gets added to all your skills. So your my concussion blow is doing my rogue is doing more damage than my warrior, which just does not make sense at all because of all the way that I upgraded them. Anyway, in the game, there's 12 different character classes and 17 characters. There's unlockable ones as well, so you don't start off with all these. The 5 unlockable characters are actually a development team, which they're in the game as bosses, and you can unlock all those guys as different people to use. And there's a bunch of different classes, and part of the quests that you do in the main game is to go find like the bard and find the berserker or whatever the name of the other ones are. I can't even remember off the top of my head.
Have you unlocked them all?
No, I think I've only unlocked 4. I want to say 4, or maybe it's 3. But you do them by finding them, or you unlock them by finding them in the game, usually through like side quests and things like that. What you can do at any point, you go to one of the cities. I can't remember the name of the city. Let's try to find it here. It's not the main city you start in, which is Default Village, but it's the castle. Sunset Castle is what it's called. If you go there, there's a black shrouded character, and if you touch that character, you can actually swap out one of your characters. So you can do that as much as you want. It costs gold to do it. So you unlock a character, and then you swap them out. My only problem with that is that character then starts at level 1. So you might have level 20 characters, and then you're fighting level 20 enemies, and then you have a level 1 character jump into your party, which means that if he gets hit once, he dies, and then he gets no experience. So you have to fight a bunch of enemies, or one at a time, to level him up a few times to get him up close enough where he's not going to die with one hit. But it's kind of neat how you can swap your characters in and out like that. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Back to items. As I said, there's things that you can do to give yourself bonuses, and you're basically buying items for the game room that you're playing in. So you can buy snacks, which give you a timed bonus. So you can buy a pizza, which gives you 2% crit chance, and that will last for 23 minutes. Or cookies, which give you plus 10 magic and plus 1 extra MP, or plus 1% extra MP for 23 minutes, and it goes on like that. You can buy drinks, so like soda can, milk, soda bottle, and they give you bonuses to like potion effects and things like that. And then the cool things that I found is objects. So you can buy a crown that allows you to fight 7 monsters instead of 5. And that costs like 50 gold or something. So you're spending your in-game money to buy these items, but it's kind of neat. The Holy Grail allows you to upgrade so you can have 5 characters, not just 3. The Loaded Dice gives you plus 8 goodies duration. I have no idea what that means. That doesn't make any sense to me. It probably means something. I bought it because I was like, who doesn't want plus 8 goodies duration? But it doesn't explain it good enough to what that actually means. Then there's the Hourglass, which gives you plus 1 to your skill duration. So if your skill stuns someone for 2 turns, this would stun it for 3 turns. I think that's the reason why my concussion blow actually stuns the guy for 1 whole turn, not just for part of a turn or whatever. There's a table, so you can change the table that you play on. So the glass table will give you 5% item find on battle. I'm using the golden table, which gives you plus 10% gold on battle. You can choose different dungeon masters. So you can choose the comic store guy, which is the default, but you can unlock Yoga, which is supposed to be Yoda, gives you 10% extra HP. The Dungeon Master, which looks like the Dungeon Master from the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, which is kind of funny, which lowers the travel cost and makes your speed go faster. There's Splinter, or in this game, Karate Rat, which gives you plus 1 to attack and plus 5 to magic. Or Dr. Scientist with a C, which gives you plus 5 to magic and regen 1 MP per turn. So you can basically just buy, there's furniture left, furniture right, and doors. So there's a bunch, and a rug. So there's a bunch of things you can buy. There's books as well. And they basically just allow you to kind of make the game easier. So once you unlock a bunch of money, or make a bunch of money, or spend your in-app gold or your real money to buy in-app purchase gold, you can then change the game or make it more suited to the way that you play the game, which I thought was kind of neat. But yeah, that's Knights of Pen and Paper. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add, Jared?
Do you know if you like buy multiple of the same class of things, do they stack or do they not stack?
I believe they stack because I have multiple gold find items, and I'm getting a fair bit more gold than before I bought the items. Could be because I'm a lot higher in level than I was when before I bought them, but I believe they do stack.
Maybe I need to use. I have not used the store probably as much as I should have.
Oh yeah, you need to do that. That's like probably the best way to make the game easier on yourself.
Okay.
So yeah, as I said, there's there's a bunch of different character classes, a bunch of different characters. There's 100 different quests across the different the different games, and I don't know. I like it. I really, really like this game, and I really want to love this game. For me, it's just the in-app purchase money, which is almost a necessity, makes me kind of cringe. If it was a free game and I had to spend $5 to buy gold, I'd have absolutely no problem with that. The fact that I had to spend $2 on this game, and then the developers are pretty much forcing me to buy more money with real money. It always rubs me the wrong way. I don't know. It's something mental for me. I can't, like, I just can't get over it in my brain. The fact that I bought your game, yet I have to buy gold to make the game actually playable. It's not that bad, but it's kind of tough because you are going to then be grinding up a lot and a lot and a lot, which then makes the game harder, which then makes you more, it makes it more necessary to buy money, I guess, because everything is hard and it's going to be hard to upgrade. I haven't got to the point yet where it's impossible, but I'm sure that if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's going to get to the point where it is pretty much impossible. So yeah, that's pretty much, I don't know, kind of our convoluted, all over the place review of Knights and Pen and Paper. It's a really interesting game. I really I like what they were doing. I like kind of what they were trying to accomplish here. It needs a little bit of massaging, I think, a little bit of sandpaper to kind of take off all the sharp edges. But I really kind of dug it. The fact that a really great turn-based battle system, class-based battles. It reminds me a lot of like some of the best parts of like old Final Fantasies, all kind of put in here. The fact that it is like a kind of retro 8-bit, I love. And it really kind of all ties in together. Like I used to play pen and paper RPGs back when I was a kid, and it brings back some of that feeling. Not the same feeling, I guess, but kind of the thoughts and things that you had when you were playing the game. Like at one point when you first start the game, one of your characters makes like some stupid comments, and Dungeon Master's like, "Hey, if you don't stay in character, I'm gonna have to penalize you," and which is like the douchey things that my friends used to say when they were the Dungeon Master and taking control of the game. So it kind of made me giggle a little bit. Not really, but I kind of smiled, I guess. So yeah, that's Knights of Pen and Paper. Jared, what do you give this wonderful $2 turn-based RPG?
I think I'm right there with you. Like, I really, really wanted to like the game, but there's just a few things that rub me the wrong way. So I'm going to say a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I give it a 4 out of 5 as well. And we talked a lot about how the money kind of really rubbed us the wrong way. But even then, the game itself has been so much fun. It's probably one of the best RPGs I played on the iOS platform, as far as like engagement, a game that I wanted to keep playing over and over and over and keep at it. So even though I had to grind a lot to get the money, I still think it's a 4 out of 5 game. It's definitely right up there with some of the best games that I've played. Let me look on the App Store, and yeah, it's rated 4.5 out of 5. So we don't seem too far off with the other 500 people that have played this game and rated it. If they could get rid of some of the necessity for in-app purchases, the game would easily get a 5 out of 5 for me. I love the fact that they keep promising that they're going to be putting new kind of campaigns into the game. And it's also kind of nice that you can play it on the iPad as well, although you're using your iPad as if it was a big phone. I wish there was a way they could maybe change the interface a little bit to make it a little bit more playable on the iPad. But I don't know, even with all those problems, I still love the game, and I'm going to be keeping it on my my iOS device, in this case my iPad, for a long time. I want to see what other content they add to the game so I can keep playing it.
Yeah, I think mine's going to go into a folder right now so that I can come back to it, and hopefully in the meantime they polish it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. The other nice thing about this game is it's 28 megs to download. It's tiny, so they're doing a lot with the space that they that they have here. It is so small that you can pretty much keep it on your device forever and not worry about that space that it is taking.
Yeah, it's so small. So.
Excuse me. So yeah, that's Nice Pen and Paper. It has some problems, but nothing super major and nothing that's gonna make us penalize it too much. So both Jared and myself gave it a 4 out of 5. All right, man. What do you say? Do you want to do your second review?
I would be happy to.
All right. Well, here you go. Jared's second review of the show.
Okay, so my second review is a game called Letterpress, and I kind of told everyone that I was going to be playing it last week, and I asked a few people, listeners, to go and sign up and start playing with me. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the people that helped out so that I could review this game. Dan Lizette, USOZ Girl, and then Todias. They all played some games with me. I also, strangely enough, I got my boss playing this game, and so I mean that's already something because I don't know, he's not really much of a gamer. However, he has an iPhone, and I knew that he had played Words with Friends, and this game has some similarities because basically what happens is each game there's a 5x5 grid, and there's a random set of letters on there, and you then have to figure out a word based on those letters. Well, this is where things get a little bit tricky because you start off with just red and blue, and whenever you play, it goes blue, and then the other person plays red. Well, if they take one of your squares and use it in their word, then that square goes from blue to red, and they claim the point. Well, you can keep fighting back for it. And as soon as all the squares are claimed, whoever is winning wins the game. There's a couple other things that really add to this. There's a big layer of strategy in that if you take all of the letters around the letter that you're going for, then the letter goes like dark blue or dark whatever color you're using. So it goes dark blue, and if then your opponent uses that letter, they don't score any. So there's a lot of strategy around going and trying to take the better letters and then protect them so that even if they're using those better letters, say the vowels that are on the board or the S's or the other common letters, the D's, things like that, then even if they use those, well, it doesn't matter because you have them protected. And they can kind of chip away. Say I have the corner. Well, I can then go in and I have it protected because I have the one above it and the one to the left of it. Well, if they take either of those in this turn, then in the next turn, my corner piece would go from dark blue to light blue, and then it would be attackable on their next turn. So there's a lot of strategy in it and trying to kind of carve out your little piece of territory and then defend it. And then you want to make sure that the game ends on your terms. And really that's one of the critical pieces of it. I have found that I'm actually really good at getting pieces, but then I never can figure out the right words to end the game before the other person does. And because they play that last turn, they get a whole bunch of letters, and then they end up beating me. And this has happened several times. So I'm not the best at it, but I really enjoy this game. If you're on the... Can you see that at all?
A little bit.
So this is my current game. And as you can see, I have a corner claim down here because it's dark. And then he doesn't have any that are dark. So I can use any of the letters to try and attack. So it's really fun because it's basically the Words with Friends because it's the asynchronous play. However, at the same time, it adds on an extra layer in the strategy because you're always trying to defend your letters and defend the important letters while attacking your opponent, because it does you no good to use your opponent's letters if they're already darkened and defended. So you always have a certain group that you want to use, and it also doesn't help you to use your own. So basically every time you make a word, you're trying to make the word that's the most strategic and longest from the letters that are either light of your opponent's or white of your own. So it's a really fun game, and it's free. And they have kind of an interesting method about it because if you only have the free version, you can only play 2 games at a time. So it actually, I think that this is a good way to monetize it. It's kind of a way to, allow you to sample the game without giving away too much so that nobody buys it. And then if you decide to go ahead and buy it, what they give you is you can then have unlimited, well, I don't know if it's actually unlimited, but I still haven't run into the maximum number. And then they also give you lots of themes. So if you don't like the blue and red, then you can switch to whatever color you want. So I use the green and yellow. And yeah, so it's a word game. However, it's significantly more strategic than most of the word games are out there. And then the full unlock is only 99 cents. So you pay your 99 cents, you can have whatever colors you want. In addition, if you pay your 99 cents, you can get a word list so you can see what's already been played and know what words you can't play. Because sometimes that's annoying when you think you have a great word and then you realize it was one of the first or second words that was played and is therefore ineligible. But the game goes, pretty fast. You end up playing maybe 8 or so turns, depending on how aggressively you're going after the white letters and how much you're attacking your opponent, and then as well as how long. So it's not a super long game, and it has a pretty good matchmaking system. My two biggest complaints is there's no chat system. You know how it's really easy in a lot of these games to go click the button and chat with the person that you're talking to? Yeah, that doesn't exist in this game.
Oh.
So that's kind of annoying. You can't talk trash or say, hey, good move or anything, because unless you jump out and you know the person and can send them a text message or something, I don't know. And the second thing is there's no instant rematch. So if I win or lose, the game then goes into my done games, and I have to go scroll to the bottom, click new game, go find the person again. And if I don't know their real name, then I can't find them. I had that happen with one of my games from the listeners, where USOZ girl started a game with me. We played, we finished, and then I wanted to play another game, but I couldn't figure out which one was her. So I had to wait for her to start another game with me, which she did, and we're playing again. So it worked out. But so overall, I'm going to say it's a 5 out of 5. There are a few things that I'd like to see, but it is free, and it is a game that I think everyone should try because it has that word game as well as the extra strategy on it. So that's Letterpress, free on the App Store.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jared, for that. It's a game that was super popular. It's done by Lauren Brichter, the guy that did the first Twitter client called Tweety. Was it Tweety? I think that was what it was called. And then he got hired by Twitter, and his client became the official Twitter client on OS X and iOS. And then he left Twitter, and now he's doing his own thing again. And this is his first app that he's done post Tweety and post Twitter. So it was kind of neat to see him move on from like an application to a really like well-loved game. So I guess he's been thinking about this one for a long time, and it shows. So check that out. Letterpress. It's free. Might as well download it, which I have, but I'm not playing games because I don't know. I'm crazy that way. I just like getting the Game Center requests for games, even though I haven't even really booted up the game more than once. So I should get into that. Maybe play Jared a couple times.
Hey, I can play all I want because I went and unlocked it.
How much is the unlock again? Sorry, I forget.
99 cents.
99 cents, that's right. I should just do that.
It's cheap.
Cool. All right, moving on.
Otherwise, you can only have 2. So.
Yeah, it's probably worth doing that.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually doing pretty well on the charts.
Yeah, that's it was doing really good for a while. All right, moving on. Stephen Munn saying, who's this guy? Why is Lloyd's voice coming out of a guy with no beard? And yeah, I am still shorn with my really horribly slow-growing Movember mustache. I don't even know if I'm going to end up keeping it because it looks like I shook like pepper on my face. I don't know. It's not very cool at all. All right, moving on. Let's get into my review. And this one's going to be a quick one. It's for a really interesting little 99-cent app. It's called Finger Tied, and it's by Streaming Color Studios. We've talked a lot about their games in the past, and they make really awesome titles. So this one is really simple. It's all about filling in blocks by dragging a pattern with your finger. So you can drag a pattern of a circle, and then you beat that level. The game itself is set. I'm gonna let me open it up just so I can tell you exactly what it's said, or what it's called, because I know I'm gonna get all the names wrong. but it's divided into different types of games, whether you want easy, medium, hard, or impossible. So what is it? Beginner, easy, medium, and hard is what it's called. So beginner, you're using 1 finger. Easy, you're using 2 fingers. Medium, you're using 3 fingers. And hard is 4 fingers. So one of the beginner levels, like I'll show you on the screen, is this it. So you basically are dragging the square and you're going over and down and over, and it's not dragging on my game because of the way that I was doing it. So basically you're dragging, this one, because it has 2 different squares. So you actually have to hold it with that, and you go in and around and whatever. So you're basically dragging and filling the blocks. Once you fill the blocks without basically going outside of the squares or lifting your finger up, you win. That's pretty much it. And then you go on to the next level. When it gets really crazy is like when you get into some of like the easy, medium, or hard levels where there's multiple like areas that you have to touch and then move. Like there's this one level that took me forever to beat where it's 4 squares that are basically squares like this, and you actually have to drag your finger around the outside of the square, but you're doing it with 4 fingers in different areas of the screen. So you're kind of like you're putting your fingers together and then lifting them up and down and then over and then down and then back, and it took a long time for me to get that. I had to basically lay my iPad down and do that, but then what I found is levels like that are really awesome when you play multiplayer. So I was playing some multiplayer with a friend, and I would take 2, they would take 2, and we would do it that way, and I actually had a lot of fun. In fact, I would say this is probably one of my favorite games to play when you're around and maybe sharing a couple beers or something, and just want to have like some stupid fun. There were some other games, like we used to play air hockey and stuff like that on the iPad, but this one's kind of taken over for that, and that's essentially all the game is. It's you have an object or an item or a design of some sort. You fill in all the black areas with your finger, and that's it. And super easy, but really, really hard to master. You get stars in each level based on how fast you do it. So you get bronze, silver, or gold, depending on how fast or slow you are. So that can be a lot of fun. And the other neat thing is you can actually create your own levels. So you can create levels based on the number of fingers. So I'm creating a 1 finger one, and I'm just going to like click and then drag down and then over. Of course I lifted my finger, so that didn't work. So let's erase that. So I'm going to do 1 finger. I'm going to drag down and over. And it's not working because of me flipping to the camera. But anyway, it does work. And then once you have that, you just hit save, and then the level is there. And when you go to play, you can actually play your levels. I can choose my 1 finger level from here. And then I drag down, boom, beat the level. And so you can make like really difficult levels and share them with or play them with your friends like that. And I don't know, it's just something about this game is just so simple. It's a heck of a lot of fun, and it's really cool to see kind of how different people play different levels. I really dug it. So that's Finger Tied by Streaming Color Studios, 99 cents, and it's probably one of my favorite group games that I've ever played on the iPad. So if you ever get together with buddies and play games like that, definitely check this one out. 99 cents. It's a heck of a lot of fun, and it gets a 5 out of 5 by me. It's unique, interesting, and it's a game that I kind of want to see more of. So congrats to Streaming Color Studios. You came out with another game that I can't stop playing, which is really awesome. So do check that out. Again,
kind of a funny note on this one is that it was shortly after he finished it and designed it that the Owen, right?
Yep.
It was the designer, they had their second child. It was like the day after, and so there was a lot of jokes on Twitter about, so this game apparently induces labor. So
yeah, that as well. So if your wife or loved one is pregnant and they want to give birth, have them play this game. Maybe it'll work for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be more harmful than a lot of the other things they say to induce labor, right?
Yeah. Hot, spicy food and driving over bumps tends to work, is from what I hear. I have no idea. Anyway, so there you go. Finger Tied. Check it out. 99 cents on the App Store. Something quite unique and a lot of fun to play. All right, man. I think that's going to about do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless you have anything else to add, Mr. Sickly.
No, I'm good. I'm going to go eat some more soup and go to bed.
Yeah, down some Neocitrin and go to bed. That's my home remedy. Works really good. All right, guys, that's going to about do it for this episode number 122 of the Touch of Gaming podcast. Again, just a reminder, there is not going to be a show next week because both Jared and I are going to be indisposed, but we will come back the following week and get back to you with more iOS gaming goodness. I'm trying to figure out what the date is. It would be the 22nd will be our next show, I believe.
No, it won't.
It won't be?
No, man, that's Thanksgiving in America.
Oh, that's right. So it will be the 20th because we're going to do it 2 days early. We're going to do it next Tuesday, I believe, right? Is what we talked about?
Yeah.
You guys and your crazy Thanksgiving in November. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So how about we do it on Tuesday? So we'll plan on the 20th.
Okay, we'll do it on the 20th of next week. So it'll be out in time for American Thanksgiving. You can listen to it while you're waiting for all the Black Friday sales. Waiting in line and shivering if you're in the northern states, or sweating your butt off if you're in the southern states. So when you're waiting to buy your cheap video games and other things, listen to our podcast. It would be a good thing to do. All right, guys, definitely head on over to vgpodcast.com and check out our suite of shows. You can email us directly at vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line at area code 505 VGPodcasts. Let us know what you want us to talk about, any games you'd like to see us review, or even what's your favorite game. What do you want us to review? What do you want to tell us about? Do you even want to do a 60-second review? You can do that one as well over at vgpodcast.com. So thanks again, Jared, for joining me.
Always a pleasure, Lloyd.
And we will talk to you guys in a couple weeks' time. Take it easy.